show at the Comedy Festival Words. Is that something we can expect? A couple of words?
Yes, well, originally my show was going to be just 94 words, rotated. But now I've expanded it to other words. So when I named the show Words, I knew I couldn't lose, because there would always be words in it, unless, of course, I went for complete mime.
It's been really hard because I'm talking about spiritual stuff, like psychic stuff,
Oh, cool.
which is really hard to find a way to let people in, because so many people just have such a strong reaction, either one way or the other, to it. So it's been really interesting to try and find a way that includes everyone, but still is interesting, because it's weird. I'm just hoping that people who are really I'm not shitting on anyone. Like, it'd be a lot easier if I was coming at it from one direction, which is I'm really into it and this is why, or I am absolutely against it and this is why, but I'm not. I'm kind of in the middle a bit. So hoping that it'll be able to let people in enough.
So I talk about the different rock gods in my life, one of them being my mum.
Oh, cool.
My 59-year-old alcoholic mother, and one of them being Kim Clijsters, the former Belgian world #1 tennis player.
Wow.
Yeah, I tell a story about her. I think I'm fairly confident I can say that I'm the only comedian at the festival this year doing a story about Kim Clijsters.
So I think people should just come just to hear that.
Absolutely.
That story.
I tell a very scandalous story about when she was engaged to Leighton Hewitt. And I think that's worth the ticket price alone.
Well, very good.
A story about a family holiday I went on in 1995 with my family. We drove halfway around Australia, and it was the adventure of a lifetime. And I've got like an old school slide projector, and I've got these diaries that my brother and I kept on the trip. So, there's a lot of nostalgia and adorable photos of me as a kid with these baby cheeks. But then also generally it's about, I guess, what I think it means to be Australian.
Chang reaction.
Wow. I was afraid you're gonna forget the name of the show. So
It's
Chang Reaction. Come
so
check it out.
Can you tell us a little bit about the show? What
Sure.
is the reaction?
It's
a good reaction?
It's usually an overreaction. It's my new 1 hour comedy special. It's my third hour of comedy. I think it's my best hour so far, if I do say so myself. It's the most mature, personal, and funniest hour I've done. I really believe that. I just opened it last night in Brisbane, and it went really well. And I don't say that lightly. And so I'm really excited to bring it to Melbourne.
Because it's pretty daggy. It's a pretty daggy premise. It's simply about either being a parent or being a child. So it's goes from giving birth, and people, the young people are coming. I've done the show in Adelaide, and I must admit I thought it would be, and I wrote it because for women more my age, you're heading for 60, because we're the cash cows, Phoebe.
Yes.
Keep it under your hat.
Really?
These are the people who pay. Women go out in groups and go to shows, right? So I thought, well, I'll bring them in. But the amazing thing that happened in Adelaide was that they brought their adult children, which meant there were a lot of 30-year-old men out with their mothers for the night.
Well, that's nice of them.
Isn't it? And they seemed genuinely fascinated when I asked them things like, what is the shape of a uterus?
I've got two children, 6 and 8, and I'm starting to look at the world. They project you children, into the future, because you start. Whereas when you're just on your own, you only think about yourself. But now I have to think not in terms of the next 20 years, which is my lifespan, but the next 50 years, which is their and more their lifespan. Yeah. And so I'm looking at the issues that we face in the world, and I'm trying to add my hilarious insights. I focus down on about 4 or 5 main topics, which I think are pertinent to Australia, because I live here. I live in Melbourne, and then I basically find the funniest stuff about that, but also the stuff which makes a point, and then I've encapsulated it into an hour of comedy.
Oh, fantastic.
I talk about South Africa, New Zealand, Australia, and how we are all the same, and how, because I grew up in apartheid South Africa, and sort of the stuff that you learn, and then you go New Zealand, Australia, but it's all really the same. It's not that different, except for in Australia and South Africa, everything can kill you. And in New Zealand, nothing can kill you.
And one of the things I love about live comedy as well is that you see people doing the most outrageous, like unique, individual, personal performance. Most of the stuff we watch is either on the telly or in movies, and that goes through a whole lot of filters of people saying, yes, no, that'd be good, well, that's not commercial, this will blah, 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 a whole lot of other opinions. But live comedy, you go straight from the artist to the audience, and it means you get to see the most peculiar, wonderful stuff. Every show is different, every show is a bit weird, and so I really would encourage people to just get out and see stuff.
And see at least one person you've never heard of before, or one person you've never seen before, I think, is my tip.